But here is where we are, 4 months after we declared. One of the last presidential aspirants to declare was myself in Lagos in February. And about 4 months after, we have become a phenomenon in Nigeria with so little. Phenomenon, yes. To the extent that I was in Abuja one day with other presidential aspirants, young people, and before you know it, all of them were using "take it back." We have to take Nigeria back. We have to take Nigeria. And I had to be asking them from who? Because we weren't prepared for that. So I said this as a preamble so that you can understand how far we've come and why you're sitting down here today is a very, very powerful addition to a movement that just emerged and has covered a lot of ground and is making a lot of impact. And I have no doubt in my mind that something is about to give in Nigeria. I am seeing the signs all over the place that the burden upon which we have been saddened, or the burden that we're carrying on our shoulders and in our hearts and on our heads, is about to lighten up. But in lightening up, some people are afraid that that burden is coming their way. But we are not here to share burden. We are here to clear all the hurdles that have made it impossible for Nigeria to experience growth, progress, prosperity, and even peace. And everywhere we go, we have to answer questions. Nobody can even understand how, without writing anything down, I have answers, or we have answers to all the questions. I don't get to write anything down until you start asking me questions. And it's not by accident, and it's not pride, it's not arrogance, it's not cockiness. It's that for 30 years, we have studied Nigeria's problems. We have been part of it. Nigeria has been cracking its whip on our backs for so long. And a lot of you who are sitting down here today are here not because you want to be here, but because you were chased out of your country. You were chased because the economy of the country wasn't favorable to you. You have engaged in what I describe as second slavery voluntarily because you are no longer secure in your country. And the socio-economic and political system of the country have been so muddled up and messed up that you can't even claim proudly that you are a Nigerian anymore. So many of you obtained degrees in Nigeria and never had a chance to work for a day. So many of you rented houses from landlords who chase you out of the house even when you are paying your rent. So many of you had cases in courts and the judges had been bought against your interests. So many of you woke up with a lot of determination, but the country just kept pushing against you. And one day, you had to leave. I have said this several times that if the Titanic was taken to Nigeria today, you have heard about the Titanic, like the ship, the big ship. And they go to somewhere in Lagos or Warri or Calabar, and they bath the Titanic there, and the captain says, this ship will sink in 2 hours after we set to sail. It will still be full. Not only will it be full, you will see senators on board. You see governors on board. Most people are tired of Nigeria because Nigeria is not a nation that supports its people. But the problem is very simple. Nigeria is governed by the people who hate Nigeria, or who hate the people of Nigeria, Nigerians, as we call them. And the sad part is that even as we come over here, chased away, abandoned, discredited, disgraced, so many of us are still in love with our oppressors. Atlanta is one of the places they come to when they steal money to come and buy big houses. If this was one of their houses, this place would be full today. The same political leaders who are stealing us dry, they come here. We see them on social media, and we embrace them. We love them back, even though they don't love us. And it is called Stockholm Syndrome. We've been oppressed for so long, we are falling in love with our oppressors. But we are here to change that mental attitude. We are here not to blame you, but to draw you back, to start to engage and interact again amongst ourselves and within ourselves on how somehow we can break this yoke once and for all. Listen, I have lived in this country probably for as many years as most of you are sitting down here. I've lived in the US for 19 years. And I can tell you there's nothing here for us. I can tell you that for free. You know, you can wear nice clothes over your hardships. You know, you can wear nice shoes over your depression. But you can drive nice cars that are particularly not heading in any direction. But you know deep down in your mind that the place you would rather be today is your home country. You know, you might carry a US passport, but you know when you are coming back, when they scan the passport, it is written there that you are from Nigeria and that you are not from here. So it's for them, you're just conveniently here, but you can't even blame them. Imagine if you're in Nigeria, would you allow other people to come and take over your country? You know, when Ghanaians came in our direction, they were our next door neighbors, we drove them away. So people here are actually very nice to us. They are very tolerant. We are not as tolerant as they are to ourselves in our own country. So many of us who are having a good time here cannot have a good time in Kano if you went from Lagos. And you can't have a good time in Port Harcourt if you travel from Ibadan. And the same is vice versa. If you came from Anambra, the same thing will happen to you in Lagos. The segregation is clear. Because the country has loved us to hate ourselves. So everybody in Nigeria is holding on to a straw. Whether it's ethnicity, you know, they hold on to it because that's the last thing they have, because the government has failed them. Everybody is holding on to religion because it's the only thing that is promising hope, because government is a destroyer of hope in Nigeria. Everybody is holding on to something. Sometimes it is something as interesting as soccer. The whole country, the joy of a country is dependent on 90 minutes of soccer game. When we can't even find that in our country, we go to other countries to adopt soccer clubs so that we can become happy based on the success of soccer clubs in another country completely that we have no relationship with. People are killing over that because we have nothing to hold on to. When we can't hold on to anything, we hold on to music, you know, and all kinds of dance moves as they come. We just hold on to something because there is no security for us. There is no power, electricity for us. We have no infrastructure. We cannot travel from one part of Nigeria to the other and travel for 30 kilometers uninterrupted, no matter how nice your car is. And you are wondering how mad and crazy and wicked can leaders be that even they hurt themselves. Because how do you live in a country where you buy a car that is $200,000 and you forgot the road upon which to drive them? It's only people who have mental problems that behave that way. But that's the story of Nigeria, and the question we all ask ourselves is like, when they travel abroad, don't they see how other places work? Of course they do. But the other places that are working, don't forget that some of it is our own money.
Yes.
You go to Dubai today, Nigerians are very, very proud to showcase their nice houses in Dubai.
And their cars.
Their cars. If you ask Emirates to be coming to Nigeria 5 times a day, it will not be enough to be transporting people and back to Dubai. Nigeria money shipped there. London, Nigeria money shipped there. Atlanta, Georgia, you know, some of you have next door neighbors who have $1 million homes that are Nigerian senators. It's the truth. It's not one, it's not two, or governors, or even local government chairmen. because this is one of their destinations, because Atlanta is fairly warm. You know, they love to run from one place to the other. So they come here, and maybe it's because our community is also supportive of that criminal lifestyle here somehow. Anyways, this is our story, and we tell the stories all the time, not because you don't know it, but we refresh our memories. Because one of our problems is that we honestly do have, in my view, our memories are pretty short. You know, because sometimes you ask Nigerians, did you forget what they did in 1993? And they're looking at you like, 1993? You said, okay, what about 2003? Really? What happened in 2003? When you say, what about 2007? You say, what happened? What about 2010? People don't remember. The reason that we don't remember is because they have killed our humanity. You know, why do you think today in Nigeria, if 500 people die killed by herdsmen or Boko Haram, Nigeria will just move on to the next story, and Nigerians will move on to the next story. But if 7 people die in France or America, Nigerians will be the first to put the flag on their status updates. They will lower the flag on their status updates on Facebook and Twitter. They will be discussing it. I remember in France when they killed 7 people had helped the cartoon company. Nigerians were all over the place. As a reporter, I think about the same week, Boko Haram killed about 40 people in a market. Nobody even asked. Nobody was checking into Maiduguri, but everybody was checking in and out of Paris with the flag of the nation of France. Because our humanity has been destroyed. We don't care anymore, and it is not our fault. How much can your memory take of bad news? That's the truth. You are just there as if you are born just to live through bad news on a daily basis. So at the point, it is natural that we tune off or we tune away from this bad news. There must be something that must occupy our minds away from the stories that are coming from home. Because the stories are both collective and also individualized. Apart from the fact that you are getting bad news orchestrated and created by the government, you are also getting bad news from your family members. Somebody is falling sick at home and is about to die, is in hospital right now. Some of them are true, some of them not exactly. But regardless, you are getting news. And it's not pleasant. So we somehow, no matter how far we run away from home, we are drawn back to Nigeria on a daily basis. So some of you are here, you wake up the same time they wake up in Nigeria, because they will call you. And if you tell them that you are still asleep, they will say, if you are asleep, why do you pick up your phone? And I think it's a reasonable question to ask. Because if you sleep, you are not supposed to answer your phone. You know, and when the system is not, when you are not answering, of course, you know the other style through which they get your attention. You'll be getting prayers through WhatsApp, unceasing prayers. And the moment you say amen to one, you got to pay for it. You don't blame anybody for these things. It is because it's not that people want to ridicule themselves. It's because somehow everybody is looking for a hole to dig themselves out of Nigeria that has been turned into a hell of a place. And I'm standing in front of you today. We are all standing in front of you today, or sitting here with one binding principle. And that principle is that no matter how far we run away from Nigeria, we are tied to Nigeria. So we might as well bond together and go and save Nigeria together with both Nigerians who are inside Nigeria and those who are outside Nigeria. Because like I mentioned earlier, they question why we even make some of these trips. Why are you traveling to Nigerians who cannot vote? They don't understand what voting means. That it's not only through your thumb that you can vote for someone. I was explaining to an African American yesterday in Detroit who was running for office and came to a town hall meeting, a fundraiser we had. I said, most of us that voted for Obama got a call from home. People were calling us from Nigeria. Are you voting for Obama? So the same thing will happen this time around. Those of us who want to change Nigeria will make a call home. Said, are you voting for the right guy? And that call is very important. And you have to make several of those calls. The first one has to be ensuring that people get their permanent voters cards. PVC, as they call it. Not the one that is on Alibaba.com, which is the fake one, but the real one. And the second one is that you have to make a call to ensure that they vote for the right person. Because, you know, you all here at the Social Security Department of Nigeria, you are the one who is going to pay for the next burial of your relative when they die. You are most likely paying for the next wedding of your relative. You are next paying for the next hospital bill. You are likely the one paying for the next school fees of your relatives. And in some cases, people are here providing borehole for their villages. Some of you are paying for WAEC of several kids. So you might as well be able to decide who becomes the president of Nigeria. You know, in their wickedness, they have denied us the right to vote. Nigerians are spending or sending home over $40 billion every year. Nigerians who are living in diaspora. The ones in the US are doing $30 billion, just US alone. And you know that Western Union is the least way you send money home. Because after you send $3,000 home through Western Union, they block you. When you want to send real money, you know how we do it. You go to the airport, start looking for somebody who's going to Lagos. And that's how you spend the most money. And I'm telling you that that way we spend probably another $30 billion home. So, but when they want to talk about foreign investors, they don't mention us. They talk about countries that come and invest and get high return on their investments and run away. They don't think of us. They think of South Africa. South Africa, through their phone companies, take away from Nigeria about $13 billion every year. Just one cell phone company, telecom company from South Africa. And you go to South Africa today, they don't even respect you. Nigerians are getting dragged on the street, killed by the police, killed by xenophobic young people in South Africa. Nobody respects us. The reason they don't respect us is that our own government don't care about us. Otherwise, diaspora voting would have been the first priority of any democratic government in Nigeria. But you know the reason why they don't want the diaspora to vote is because they can't bribe you. Yes. I mean, how can somebody bring Akara to someone who is in diaspora? Or promise you Akara, you know, or they give you bread when all of you are here running away from high-calorie food. Or somebody will ask you to join him to come and eat amala in one compound. You know, when your children are saying, "Oh, Daddy, what is that? That looks like concrete." You know? So they know that you are not going to be part of that nonsense. That's why they don't want diaspora to vote. And one of the reasons why we must quickly vote and take over control of power in that country is for us to have that right to vote in our country. And I promise, it's the first thing we'll do in office, or a series of one of the first things we do, is to start to draft a law going to the National Assembly to approve of diaspora voting immediately. Thank you! So that way, people will respect you, and nobody will have been asking me why I'm going to Atlanta to address a rally of Nigerians. Seated here amongst you are doctors. Seated here among you are great nurses in this country. Some of you are engineers of different types. Some of you are the ones running the biggest airports in the US, right here in Atlanta. But you have the ideas, but you don't have a country to go to practice your ideas. Some of you even want to go home and act and work for free. Some of you are teachers who are crying inside when you know this is how people teach, and you know how they are teaching your brothers and sisters and nephews and nieces at home. But Nigeria's space to even do good has almost completely closed down. If you go to Nigeria today with an idea, and you go to a government official, they collect the proposal, they say, what is the need for me? Yes. If you are telling them that you want to come and help the country, they look at you as if you are crazy. So look at these Americans again. They have come with their meh. We are asking about how to benefit from one contract. Is asking me, oh, you know, what the F? We are not talking about that. How much is the need? And if you are not willing to pay the game, they will collect the proposal you give to them, and you will see it implemented by another person in a different format. That's what these bozos are doing in our country. So wouldn't it be lovely if you can have a country you can come back to? Right? Yes. And I'm sure that if Nigeria were to be all right today, half of this room will buy a ticket and will be heading home.
Yes.
But here's the trick. If you want Nigeria to be all right, you have to invest in our movement. And I have said it's very difficult for me to ask Nigerians for financial support, because the way we translate support means that there must be something in it for me. And I have a little problem with people asking me to do them favors because, you know, I'm doing something that is right. That was the hardest problem I had when I started Sahara Reporters. I started Sahara Reporters, and when we started, we used to have PayPal on it. One guy donated $50 to me. I wrote a story against somebody he didn't like. He wrote it in the comment section. Oh, I'm one of the people funding Sahara Reporters. Why would you write this story? It was a true story, but it affected somebody. Of course, luckily enough, PayPal allows you to return money to sender. I sent him the money. Then he wrote me, and I was just joking. I said, you don't joke with me like that, because you are messing with my integrity. And the following week or so, we closed down the PayPal link on the site, even though we had restricted it to $50 per person. So we have to imbibe, and I mean this seriously, we have to imbibe the culture of supporting what we believe in. So somebody was telling us yesterday when we went to Detroit as well, in the comments about, he was comparing us with Obama. That, you know, Obama had great political organization, and I agree with him. But I said something to him. People didn't look back when they heard about Obama. Even Nigerians donated more to Obama than probably any immigrant groups in the country. So what was it at that time that made you to donate to Obama that is not possessing you now, that you have a chance to collect your country back from the wicked people that have been running the places 58 years ago? What is the problem? What is standing between you and now? Because Obama won the election, he was here for 58 years, he never called a meeting of Nigerians. I don't think he even did anything for us, specifically. Nothing. He didn't even visit Nigeria throughout his stay in office. In fact, some people are saying that Trump is better for Africa than Obama. That's what they are claiming now. So what made us support Obama at that time, that we are not supporting ourselves, is something that is a little bit surprising to me. Because let me say this to you, and I'm not speaking in a scripted manner today. I'm speaking as a spirit leads me to speak today. I am saying that there is no time in the history of Nigeria, I mean in contemporary history, that's easier to win back power than now.
Yes.
These people have completely... These people have completely, as they say in football, left their flanks open. In fact, we are now playing a penalty without a goalkeeper in goal. If we cannot score, it's as if we have been cursed.
Yes.
This is the best time, it's the easiest time to win the presidency of Nigeria back. You know, in the past, if people like me were running, people will be asking, what is your religion? Where's your ethnicity? Where do you come from? They'll be asking all those crazy questions we ask ourselves. Some of the questions have been implanted in our brain by our oppressors. But now, they are only looking for somebody who can just come and make the country better.
Yes.
Maybe even a little bit better. Can you imagine that people are considering whether Atiku will be better than Buhari? You know, in what Yoruba calls Aparokon Ogajukon that. What is different between Atiku and Buhari? You understand? But also there is a groundswell of opinion, a groundswell of movement by young people who want our aspiration to become a reality. They want change. But they have also been beaten down over these years that they don't know what to do. And that is why we come to you, those of you who know how things work elsewhere politically, not to waste your time. When we started this, what are we asking for? We're asking for $2 million from Nigerians. 2 million. It's chicken change, you know, regarding how much the other candidates are going to spend. That's probably one rally, a big rally in Ekiti State that happened yesterday, where there were 10 presidential jets parked at Akure Airport just for the rally for a governorship candidate in Ekiti. Do you know how much you rent a presidential jet per hour in Nigeria? Is $10,000 per hour. These mofos, I'm sorry to use the French language, parked it for 6 hours each. There were 10 of them that I counted. 2 million, before you know it, is gone in just one that rally. We ask from you is just $200 for every Nigerian, and if we got 10,000 Nigerians to support us, we'll have $2 million. And there are 10,000 Nigerians in this Atlanta alone, probably in this neighborhood alone in Atlanta. We have them in New York, we have in Houston. But if this was some Owambe tonight,